Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for once again joining me for tea time. Today we have a little bit of fireside, that smokiness of the lap song. You know I love it. So guys, today we're going to be talking about the industry as a whole, right? Is it going up? Is it going down? We got numbers in, and I always like to pass on the numbers to you guys so that we have an idea of what's going on and an understanding of why certain things are happening in the market, right? So we got numbers from CIPA, which is the Camera and Imaging Product Association. What they do is they take sales numbers basically across the world and they combine them all together and then they hand them over to us. And they do this every year. So we can actually chart what is going on with the industry, okay? And, you know, as of late, right, the chart's been looking like this. Well, things are changing. Things are changing a little bit, and they're changing for the better. Anyways, I'll get into that in just a second. If you haven't went over to JCristina.com/ebook, go over there, check it out. You can get my ebook free. All right. Once again, JCristina.com/ebook. 10 tips at making tax sharp images. Go pick it up. Once again, it is free. There's something there for amateurs, pro-ams, as well as professionals. How are you going to beat that? Free. Free. Go get it. Once again, JCristina.com/ebook. So, back into these numbers. What I'm going to do, before I get into it, a lot of you guys have been asking me, how are things going with this new camera setup? And I want to tell you before I get into today's video, so I'm answering your question if you asked me this question as of late. So over here, we have the 80D filming from this side, all right? On this side here, the main cam, we have the Sony ZV-1, all right? And we're shooting currently at 1080p at 60 on both of them, all right? I still like the 60 look. Some people do, some people don't, whatever. I'm doing 60. We were going to do 4K on this. We decided not to do 4K because the amount of extra time that it took me, I have the computers to be able to do it. It's not a problem, but the time was really not worth it. I would rather get you more information, more videos out than less videos and 4K so you can see my ugly mug in 4K. There was no benefit. Okay. So we're still doing 1080. But what I'm doing different today, all right, and I haven't tried this, so we'll see what ends up happening. Maybe it'll be a bomb. I don't know. Anyways, what we're doing is we're recording on the ZV-1 internally. We're recording internally on the 80D, but I'm also through OBS going to do some switching, all right? So I'm going to switch from my screen and then to me, but I'm going to do it simply through OBS. But I am piping in a clean signal from this Sony ZV-1 into OBS. So what you're seeing right now is most likely the signal that's coming out of this camera clean, right? With no HUD, no heads-up display, no nothing. Clean, raw, straight into OBS. Unless it bombs. And then if it does, I have a backup because it is once again recording on this camera. So maybe down here somewhere I'll put on camera video or I'll put through OBS video, just so you know which one ended up working. So that's what's going on as of right now. I'm going to be doing a bunch of reviews coming up soon. We have some lighting coming. We have some other stuff that some of the companies want me to take a look at, and I will once they get here. So look for that. Anyways, let's get into my screen so you know what is going on here with these figures. Now, this first slide is basically the total quantity of shipping units, shipped cameras, but these are built-in lens cameras. So this would be the equivalent to any type of point and shoot. Now, as we can see here, and let me grab a red marker. Here we go. These are the numbers for 2018, 2019, and 2020. Now, 2020 is this lower number in orange, 2019 is the black, and 2018 is this higher number up here on the graph, okay? So as we can see here on this graph, there is a big disparity between 2018, 2019, and 2020. And when it really hit was right around March, April, and then May. Why is that? Well, of course, guys, that has to do with COVID, right? COVID was the factor that really just pushed this industry into the tank. Now, was the industry tanking anyways? Absolutely. The industry has been doing horribly for the last, I would say, good 8 to 10 years. It has not been doing well. And really worse off was right around 5 years ago when it started tanking even quicker. We were doing a halving and a halving and a halving. So the market would just literally cut itself in half every single year, which is just horrible. And that's why we see a lot of these companies that are just, they can't make it, as we see just recently with Olympus. So let's get back over to the screen here. And if we look at these numbers, if we look at the worst numbers, let's say, we see May. All right. So in 2018, we had sales numbers of about 700,000 units. In 2019, it went down to, let's call it 600,000 units. And then in 2020, it went down to 155,000 units. So if you think, just look at the disparity, 700,000 units in 2018 down to 155,000 units in 2020. I mean, guys, that is a massive disparity. How can anyone in the industry be able to survive with those numbers? You have to sell X number of products just to break even if you're a company. Any company. Doesn't matter what you sell. If you sell product or if you sell yourself, you have to sell a certain amount to be able to break even. And those numbers do not look like they were ever breaking even. All right? So it was really abysmal. Let me go and switch back. Now, as we can see here, things started getting better right around July, all right? And then finally August started coming up a little bit, and we're getting closer to this mean area, right? But what I see that's happening here is we're starting to get a little closer. Even though things are coming down, but they're coming down as they normally are. And they're hanging in there as they normally are. So in 2018, we see this up here, 2020, this down here. Yes, it is once again a halving. Over here, we're getting close to 800,000, whereas down here in 2020, we're at 400,000. But like I said, that is a halving, right, guys? That is a halving. And that's exactly what has been going on in recent history. So I guess you can look at that as being good, all right? That means the market is literally cutting itself in half every single year. Long term is probably bad. But short term, at least we're starting to get to this balance, all right? This equilibrium, let's call it. So let me switch back over. I'm going to throw onto the screen interchangeable lens information. Now, this right here is more of what we look at. This is the DSLRs as well as the brand new mirrorless cameras. And when we look at this chart, it looks identical, right? This very much similar stuff going on here. We have March, we have April, and we have May when things really started going into the toilet. It literally looks like a toilet. So it's horrible is what happened due to COVID. This is all the COVID numbers here. And as things started progressing into June, July, August, things started coming up. Now, what is really good about this, in my personal opinion, let me grab a green marker, is this area right here in July. Do you see what's going on here? Whereas in the past, in 2018 and in 2019, there was a dip that happened in July. Whereas here in 2020, this didn't happen. We're actually increasing right here, all right? That is really, really good for July. Now, when we go into the rest of the year, we can see a very similar pattern that we have all the rest of the time in 2018, 2019. But as we can see right around here, these figures are starting to get closer and closer and closer, all right? That right there means to me that we're starting to not only get to that balance point, but we're now getting closer to 2018 numbers. Are we there yet? As of yet, I don't know, because we don't have numbers in yet for December. And November, we're still a little bit short, and we can tell by the chart that we're getting closer. So in 2018, we saw 885,000 being sold. In 2019, 818,000. And then finally in 2020, 666,000. So you're talking about maybe 200,000 less between 2018 to 2020, right here. Right, guys? About 200,000 less, all right? Sorry about that writing. Anyways, 200,000 less. Is that horrible? It's not great, but like I said, it's getting more, let's say, to that equilibrium. We're getting back to the numbers of old, let's say. Now, is it going to pass that? We really don't know. I really will be interested in seeing what December looks like. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw up one more chart. Now, this is total camera sales. Now, this combines both interchangeable as well as the fixed lens cameras. This gives you a more broad look, okay? So we don't look at either one of the camera styles. We look at all cameras in general. And as we can see, once again, we have this horrendous, let me go and grab a yellow. Here we go. This horrendous dip that happened right around these COVID times, May being the worst month of the year. Now, of course, we see a downturn always in May, but look at the disparity in May of 2020. I mean, it's a massive reduction, massive. Look at these numbers. 369,000 sold in May of 2020, whereas down here in 2018, 1.7 million sold. I mean, what is that, a fifth or a sixth? I mean, it's absolutely horrible, absolutely horrible. And as you can see, that's why a lot of these companies like Olympus said, you know, we can't do this anymore. We can't pay the rent. We can't pay the light. We can't pay our 2,000 plus people. It's just not possible. There is a end game. There is finality to everything. And if you're not making the money, you cannot continue going on. Now, let me bring the screen back up. As you can see, this is that spot that I was telling you about right here, where I want to see these things finally overlap. Will it happen? I don't know if it's going to happen here in December, but possibly January, February, March. And why do I say that? Because in the past, as you can see over here in February, things stabilized. They're still going down a little bit. But in March and in April, normally we're seeing this upward swing. So if we see that upwards movement this year in the next 3 months, we might see this number right here, this 2020 number going into 2021, turn into a positive over 2019 and 2018. So that it would be some really, really great news for the industry in a whole, right, guys? Because God knows the industry needs something. Throw it a bone, throw it something, all right? And I do think that seeing Canon and Nikon and Sony and Fujifilm with their GFX line coming out with new innovations and new cameras and whatnot, I think it's going to move people into buying new camera gear in those months where we always see that uptick. Once again, February, March, April, and even a little bit in May. So my guess here, reading the charts, is if we do see an upward swing, like I think we will, in March, April, May, that upward swing might actually get us to exceed what were the sales in 2019 and possibly match or exceed sales in 2018. That would be literally amazing. But I do think that it could happen. A year ago, if you asked me this question, I would say absolutely not. This market is just rocketing into the ground, right? And it was, absolutely. And that was even pre-COVID, all right? The market was just doing horrible. Are we going to see that halving continue, or are we going to see an equilibrium, or are we going to see a push forward up and above previous years? I want to know your thoughts. What do you think? What do you think looking at these charts? Are you going to pull some cards like I do every once in a while or read the tea leaves? What do you think? I'm going to put it out there and say, I think we're going to see a really, really good February, March, April numbers when they come out. They normally come out around June, July, August, somewhere on there. When they come out, I'm going to share them with you. But before we do that, I want you to make your guess. I want you to speculate. In the comment area below this video, tell me what you think. Do you think that the market is going to move higher? Or are we going to continue that having cycle where we go from 1 million sales to 500,000, 500,000 to 250,000, 250,000 to 125,000, so on and so forth, okay? Into oblivion. What do you think is going to happen? So anyways, guys, if you haven't subscribed to the channel as of yet, subscribe. It's easy. Just click that damn button over there, right? We have about 450 videos on this channel, at least, a lot of good stuff. If you like them and have subscribed, click this little bell notification button over here so when I come out with new videos or if I go live, you will be notified of it immediately. And also, if you want to contribute to the channel in 2021, I made it easy. Actually, YouTube made it easy for me. Finally, allowing the channel to offer up like memberships. So if you go below every one of our videos, you'll see a little button that says join. If you click that, you can contribute $1, $2, whatever you want per month. And now I can give you perks for doing so. And I appreciate your help growing the channel. It would be absolutely awesome. And I don't want to just throw people a PayPal address so you can send me a couple of bucks. I want to be able to give back. Always giving back. That's just what I do. So hopefully that is something that you are interested in. Also, if you haven't went over to community.JCristina.com, once again, community.JCristina.com. Go over there, join our creative Discord server. There's hundreds, there's thousands of photographers, videographers, tech heads just like you conversing on a plethora of topics. So go and check it out. It's free, all right? And finally, once again, if you haven't downloaded my ebook, go check it out over at jcristina.com/ebook. Once again, jcristina.com/ebook. Once again, free. And if you haven't went over to my website, go check it out over at jcristina.com, where you can find all the photography tools that I've invented for you and me over the years. And hopefully there's something there that you might like. And if there is, please pick it up and support me and my family. I would really appreciate it. That's it for yet another vlog. Many blessings to you and your family. Stay safe and stay healthy.